Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Chris from PR GameFit, and today I'm going to be reviewing Darkest Dungeon for the PS4. It has only been out on the PlayStation for about a week now. Today is October the 4th, 2016, but it has been out for the PC for about a year and a half. I just discovered this game. I did not know about it because of its arrival to the PlayStation Network. So I'm going to do my best to give it a review. There is tons of content in this game, so I'm sorry if I miss anything. First, you're going to start off in this town called Hamlet, where you'll be seeing like a lot of different buildings that you can use. When you first enter, though, you can't use any aside from the stagecoach, where you can recruit characters. Right now, I'm about 18 weeks into the game. Here is the tavern, where you can do stress relief. You can use the bar, the gambling hall, or the brothel. From dungeoneering. Dungeoneering isn't a word, I don't think, but it's a word I've been using a lot lately to describe to my friends what I've been doing in my free time. As you accumulate stress, you want to send them to the tavern or the abbey. There's also the sanitarium that you saw that is where you can cure them from diseases and negative quirks that are also accumulated from dungeoneering in the various dungeons. There's the ancestors' memories, which you don't go to that much. They're basically like the script and stuff they wrote and little like prologues and dialogues. There's a blacksmith and another place where, I forget what it's called, the guild, I think, where you can upgrade skills, the different character skills and different and the blacksmith, and you can upgrade their weapons and armor. All this stuff is unlocked throughout the game by using what's called heirlooms. Heirlooms you can see like in the bottom part of the screen. There's like a statue, a piece of paper, a shield, and a painting. Those heirlooms are basically currency to upgrade the different buildings inside the town of Hamlet. You can see right now I'm in the sanitarium. And right now I'm going through these negative quirks. You accumulate tons of negative quirks when you're going through the dungeons. It's a little ridiculous at first. It is easy though later as you learn what to look for. But ultimately, you can always get negative quirks after leaving the dungeon. It's just like a routine thing. It's like a roll of the dice thing. This whole game is about rolling dice, really. Even though you never see any, it is a total game of chance. Which makes it kind of great in that aspect. Let's talk about heroes. So I'm kind of going through some of the heroes right now. There's like 12 to 16 different kinds of heroes. There's some I like a lot more than others, and from what I know right now, the ones that I dislike, I might just not play with them that much because they're hard to use. And also, not all players will party with different, like some heroes. You cannot put some heroes on the same team. There's like one character called the Abomination, and he's like, it can turn into like this werewolf thing, and he will not party with like religious heroes like the Crusader or the Vestal or the Leper, I believe. So it's like some heroes get along with others, and all the heroes are very different and they have very different skills. One of the biggest things about the heroes is each of them has like a place in the party formation. So you can see on the bottom of the screen right now, I have a couple characters picked for the team. One thing I want to touch on, just sidebar while I'm right on this menu. So you can see these are the different dungeons I can go to. You can see like the Ruins, the Cove, the Weld, and the Warrens. If you notice that red bar, that is actually a level for the dungeon. So like the more you go and complete missions inside the dungeon, the stronger the dungeon becomes. So like when I first started playing, I was going through the dungeons, but I was like failing miserably, and my characters would get like terribly wounded and accumulate like tons of stress, and they would eventually die. And so like my characters are kept dying, but the dungeons would keep getting stronger. So like that's one thing I just want you guys to notice, like, and that was a really awesome aspect when I realized it. But going back to the heroes, so all the heroes have like their different special abilities and things that they're good at, but what's really important is to know where to place them using and what abilities they have equipped. So like the Crusader, who's the guy that looks like the knight, he's like really good in the front, like as the front man. And like the Vestal, who is the healer with the mace, who you'll see a little bit later in the video. Like, she's basically the hero, so it's like she's really good in the back, and like the archers are really good in the back. And there's a character called the Grave Robber, and she has knives, but she can also do melee attacks, so she's really good like in the second spot. And there's another character that I really like called the Plague Doctor, and he can throw like poisonous potions and poison the enemies. He's really good in the third spot, I think, but he's also interchangeable with the fourth spot. So like there is tons of things you can do with the heroes. As you can see, this is the Grave Robber on the screen right now. I'm going through different abilities. There's the Arbalist, and here's the Vestal that I was talking about. She has a lot of healing. She's the best. Like, I have her in every party. She's just the best to keep your people alive. Like, there's really no... You could put a party together because a lot of heroes have heal abilities, but most of them are like self-heal. So it's like if you had a party where you all have characters that self-heal, yeah, it might be pretty good, but it's always nice to have like a designated healer. So that's my big like summary of the heroes. And there's lots like I didn't mention, but there's really unique ways to pair them up. So now I'm going to head into the dungeon. You can see I'm starting to pack and purchase some different items to go through the dungeon. It's always good to have a lot of things because there's interactions that you'll have in the dungeon called Kiros, and it's like you'll find a chest or you'll find a stump or you'll find like a bookcase or something, and they'll have different, each little Kiros or each interaction you have like with those objects will have like a different outcome in the game. So like sometimes they can like hurt you and give you negative effects, and sometimes they can give you treasure. So let's sidebar that. And so here's my first battle, and so you can see the party that I loaded out with was the leper, who's in the front, who's like incredibly strong. It is crazy how strong she is, but when you first get the leper, like their accuracy really sucks. Then I have the Grave Robber next with the knives, and I have the Arbalist with the crossbow behind her. She's really good. She has a healing ability, which she can heal other people, and it's nice because it has a buff. So you can see like this isn't like a great pairing, but this is a pretty solid team, you know, to like get shit done with in the dungeon, because there's a healer. The only thing I don't have is a stress healer, and that's what's great about the Crusader, who is like the first character you get, but he can actually heal people's stress. So like while you're dungeoning, you need to keep your people healed from injuries, but you also need to keep them healed. This is a Kiros, but not a very good one, that sack. You need to keep them healed from injury, but you also need to keep their stress as low as possible, because the higher the stress goes, if you actually build the stress bar all the way up, like the party or the hero will actually get like stressed out, and they'll develop like a quirk or something like a negative, I forget what the actual word is, but like within that game they'll have like this major disabling quirk, and so it'll debuff them, but the person will actually speak out all the time, and she'll like stress out your other characters and build the other character's stress bar. So it's like it's really hard. And going through the dungeons, like when you first start to, it's like they just beat you up health bar wise, like as far as health goes, and as far as like your characters will just get killed. But like when your characters are stressed out, like it makes them a lot easier to get killed. Like, don't know why. I also just want you guys to notice right now, like where the 1 is on top of the screen, the orange bar like on each side, like that's the light meter. So you need to take the torches with you into the dungeon, and each little bar will be like 1 torch, and if the torch goes all the way out, nothing super bad will happen, but you actually the dungeon gets like a lot harder, but the rewards get a lot greater. So like you'll get surprise attacked and stuff all the time, and the enemies will like land criticals all the time, which will do devastating amounts of damage, but will also stress out all your characters. But if you have the torch fully lit, it makes your team the best, and like you'll surprise attack the enemy a lot more, and you'll get more critical hits, and better things will just happen to you. You'll land more hits. So the torch is really important, and I think like keeping it, so you want to keep it like past halfway. Also, like if it's lower, your characters will get stressed out more, like just by walking around, which is really great. So ultimately, I want to just find a clip here of like the Kiros. So let me see. Let me do some video magic. Okay, so right now I'm coming up on like this stone wheel, and you can see where it says to hit triangle. You can actually like put any object in there, and what you're basically doing is what they call like cleansing the Kiros. So when you cleanse the object, like it'll reward you with loot. So like I think for this one, it's like you use the shovel to like crack it in half or something. But with this in particular Kiros slash object, like you don't want to cleanse it, because it'll actually, if you cleanse it, it'll give you like 100% negative quirk. But see, it just gave me the positive quirk of clutch hitter. But without cleansing it, I believe it's like 66% chance to get a positive quirk and 33% chance to get a negative quirk. So it makes it a lot better. Here you see like I'm lighting the torches and continuing through the dungeon. I think that's like pretty much. Here's another Kiros. She actually, the grave robber, the reason she just went out and grabbed it is because she has a negative quirk called curiosity, and basically like she'll just run up to stuff without cleansing or doing anything, which is a total pain in the ass, and sometimes it like she'll get totally stressed out and bad things will happen. And that's the thing, like then like that's where you would want to go back to town to the sanitarium and then like clear the quirk. So in total, and there's like some big bosses, and there's like hidden rooms, and there's like tons of little cool awesome stuff in the dungeons as well. But let me wrap this review up and give you my opinion of the game. I love this game. I am so happy to have found it. It is one of the few games that I actually consider to be like a 10 out of 10 if I were to actually rank it. I mean, there's definitely games that have stood out in my lifetime, and I really think that this is going to be one of them. Like this is going to be one of them. Like if I ever heard about like a Darkest Dungeon 2, like I would be all over it, all over the release date. I would try to hype it up on my YouTube channel. I think it's just an awesome strategy game. There's so much content to the game, and there's just so many features, and I just keep learning. And I love games where you need to learn how not to fail, and you need to learn how to succeed at the game to actually finish the game. I honestly believe like if I continued with my first game that I started before I started the new one, I would have got a game over or something. Like I know I would have. And that's great. Like that's good to have things like that. Like that's what I want to see in more games. I want to see permadeath and failure in more games. And I want you to start over. I want it to be hard. I want the players who excel to be people who have been playing for a while. With that said, I give this a thumbs up. I give this game a 10 out of 10 for what it is. A strategy game, a side-scrolling game, a good video game that does well at what it's trying to do. Okay, with that said, I just want to just say thanks to everybody who subscribed to my YouTube channel. I know I haven't like addressed this at all, but it is getting kind of large. I mean, I'm almost near 300, which is a big deal. I appreciate everybody watching my videos, and if you watch this video, please write torch. If you just heard me say that, write torch and click the like button. I feel like I'm getting a pretty good subscriber base, and I just appreciate everybody who's taking the time to comment and watch my videos. I really appreciate it. I wouldn't continue to be doing it if I stopped growing. So thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you go out and get this game and you enjoy it. If you want to play with me on the PlayStation, I know this game isn't multiplayer, but there will be games later that I'm playing. My PlayStation Network name is ChrisP44S. I like to stream a lot, and sometimes I use Twitch, so be looking out for that. Until the next video, guys, thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.